Hey guys, Mr. Lloyd here. I'm going to work with you on Monday, April 13th's work. This is the first page here is this tape diagram page. It says day 15 up top, and it's got these tape diagrams. So before I go through these problems, I want to sort of explain some things and maybe do a quick kind of apology here because there's a whole lot going on in this page. So I did use different colored pens here to try to keep this a little bit consistent and maybe help you understand my thinking. So I use the pink here to explain the top bar on these tape diagrams on both A and B, and I use the green pen to explain the bottom. So my thinking is kind of spelled out here, and I wrote it down. There's not a whole lot of computation on these. There aren't a whole lot of things we're multiplying and dividing. Just a couple of steps. These problems are better to understand as parts of a whole or proportions, and sort of thinking your way through, like, what does each box represent? So thinking about math, each box is going to represent some value, and let's just take a look at part A here of this problem, and we'll get right into it. So it tells us that 3 boxes total 1.5 meters. So my question in my brain automatically says, can I figure out how much each one box is worth? And of course, I can figure that out pretty simply by dividing 1.5 by 3 to get 0.5 meters for each box. And then I can use that notion of 0.5 meters to determine my missing value here for the bottom boxes here. And the missing value is found by simply multiplying 5. There are 5 boxes by 0.5. They get a total of 2.5. The picture kind of cut it off, but it's 2.5, and I wrote it right here as well, 2.5. And then to get my total here of 4 meters, the way I determined that, I took 1.5 plus 2.5 to get 4, or 4.0 if you like. Okay, so that's part A. Remember, we did this a little bit in class, although I told a couple other students this was something we did kind of briefly. This is just one way to understand proportions and ratios, not the way necessarily. So just one teaching tool, but not necessarily the best, or not necessarily the only way. So if you're struggling with these, don't get too hung up on them. You're not alone. These are kind of unusual. We haven't seen these a whole bunch. So here, looking at problem B, and here I've got a whole bunch of arrows coming off this, so this is where I'm going to just say I got a little messy. I did my best to try to make sense of it. But for problem B, I'm given a total of 3 liters, and that total is comprised of 1, 2, 3, 4 of these boxes that I colored pink, and 5 of these boxes that I colored green. So I know that the total is 3 meters, and it takes 9 boxes to make the total. So then I just divide 3 by 9, or I write it like this, 3 divided by 9, and I get 1/3, or if you turn it to decimal, you'll get 0.33333, etc. Okay, so each box then is just 1/3 of a meter, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you can see how I finish this problem off. So once I know this is the key part I need to know, and then once I know this, I just take 1/3 times 4 to find out my value for pink, and 1/3, which is the value for each box, 1/3 times 5 to find the total amount for the green boxes. And you can see my math right there. 1/3 times 4 equals 4/3, or I simplify it to 1 1/3 liters. And then 1/3 times 5, that's for my green, equals 5/3, or 1 2/3. So my total is 3 liters. If I add 1 1/3 and 1 2/3, I get 3 exactly. So those all work out. In my writing about it, again, as you can see, I actually wrote not where the paper told me to write. I just chose to write in the margins, but that's okay too, and you can do the same thing on yours. I'm not too worried about the writing part, mostly just worried about your thinking and kind of working your way carefully through these. So like I said, these are just another way to look at proportions. They're not the most important thing, so don't get too worked up if you're struggling with these. But this is just one more little tool where we can visualize a ratio, and in this case, we're just visualizing it with the box. So I hope this helps. I'll be posting the next 2 videos in just a moment, and thank you for watching this. I'll see you later.